Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the City Council meeting and the Library and Observatory Board, Housing Authority Board, and the City Council representing the Redevelopment Successor Agency. This is a meeting held on Monday, October 21st, because the original meeting date was changed, and here we are. So maybe Gabe Cotting can lead us in the flag salute. Thank you. And Christy, would you please call roll?
Certainly. Councilmember Kite?
I'm here.
Councilmember Townsend?
Here.
Councilmember Weil?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hobart?
Here.
And Mayor Smotrich.
Here. So we're going to move on, first of all, to a presentation, and this is going to be done by Marcy Hartman, and she is from the Livestream Blood Bank. And would you like to come up to the podium? And thank you for joining us.
First, I'd like to say thank you very much, Mrs. Mayor, for having me today, and thank you to all of you as well. Really appreciate the opportunity. So my name is Marcy Hartman. I'm a regional coordinator with Livestream Blood Bank. I'm very happy to be here today. I would like to congratulate Rancho Mirage. You actually came in, you tied for first place during our 2019 Nine Cities Challenge contest that we have every year. I'm honored to say I've been in the role for 2 years, and this is the first opportunity that we've had to present, so congratulations. I want to say thank you very much. So I do have a award here for highest units collected. So there were a total of 50 units collected. Also want to say thanks to our partners at the Rancho Mirage Public Library, Aaron Espinoza and TJ Hicks. So would you like me to bring this up?
Absolutely. We are delighted, and as usual, we are so proud to be able to participate, and we know our community and our staff members really do a great job. So thank you. And you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you. So for the audience that did not see this, it's pretty lovely and impressive, and we are thrilled.
Thank you very much. And secondly, I do have a certificate for the Rancho Mirage Public Library as well. And a quick recap of Livestream Blood Bank. So we've been around since the 1960s. All of our blood within the community does stay local. It goes to the local hospitals. So that's something to be proud of. Every unit saves up to 3 lives. And we currently are still outsourcing about 30% of our blood supply, so we really appreciate all of the donations. But I would like to call out the success from the library over the last year. They've been a very strong participant with us for at least going back to 2008, possibly even farther back. But this last year, during 2019, we collected a total of 197 units from their location alone inside their community room, which is a lovely inside location, which saves up to approximately 591 lives. So I'd like to have Aaron and TJ come up, if they would, to accept their award. And with that, I would just like to say thank you again for the opportunity. We're very grateful. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, so now we will move on to non-agenda public comments, and this is the time when the public has an opportunity to speak on issues that are not on the agenda, and we would like you to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Thank you, and when you come up, please state your name and your place of residence. And I have a couple of people on the yellow cards. One is Susan Ragsdale.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
I'm nervous. Okay. I live at 42536 Rancho Mirage Lane, and I love it there. In our city, numerous residential and commercial properties have installed unshielded outdoor floodlights and other excessively bright, bare light bulbs. The International Dark Sky Association calls these glare bombs, and they cause light pollution. This unfortunate community trend is growing at an accelerated pace. In effect, people are using outdoor lighting as weapons. Glare bombs harm the eyes and scream out to a potential criminal, "We see you, stay away." However, it's never been proven that bright lights deter crime. The proliferation of weaponized outdoor lights is ruining the ambiance of our city, making it repulsive. Neighborhoods are losing the natural nighttime experience along with the ability to see stars. Glare bombs cause pain in the eyes and are extremely unhealthy for humans. In 2016, based on a Harvard study, the American Medical Association declared that bright lights at night are a cancer risk, especially for breast cancer and prostate cancer. This is because the loss of darkness disrupts our natural rhythm, stopping the flow of melatonin needed by the body to function. Rancho Mirage Municipal Code includes excellent criteria for preventing light pollution, especially to shield outdoor lights. However, the code is not being enforced, and I was told by City Code compliance staff that City Council is responsible for this. So if my neighbor installs 2 floodlights that blaze into my backyard and bedroom, I have no recourse. This represents a downgrade in property value due to a negative quality of life. Especially because Rancho Mirage has an observatory, I urge you to investigate the International Dark Sky Association website in order to get a handle on this catastrophe. This comprehensive website is intelligently designed, has videos, and is loaded with fascinating information. You can even download a PDF of the American Medical Association report, which affirms the detrimental human health impacts, especially from LEDs. To prevent light pollution several years ago, Palm Springs adopted the guidelines recommended by the International Dark Sky Association and wrote them into code. I implore you, don't waste any time, get on board today. Regarding light pollution in Rancho Mirage, I've written reports, taken over 100 nighttime photos, and sent informative emails to Deanna Mendoza in housing. In addition, I would like to offer help. I have wonderful ideas on how to approach this issue, and I'd appreciate an opportunity to speak with someone at City Hall in person for 15 minutes in order to share some exciting proposals for solutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Madam,
Next, yes.
as far as Ms. Ragsdale's note in here, it says she would like to have 15 minutes with somebody from staff to discuss that matter, and I'm wondering if we can't just tell her how to put that together as long as she's here, and let's hear what it is she has to say, and
Certainly.
have staff make a report.
Okay, that would be wonderful, and we'll be more than glad to have one of the staff members meet with you. All you have to do is call City Hall and speak with Isaiah Hagerman, and he will direct you to the correct person. Our telephone number is 760-324-4511. Thank you so much. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next yellow card, and that is Brad Anderson.
Great, thank you. Brad Anderson, City of Rancho Mirage, Ferber Drive. Just comment on the light pollution thing. I think it's a noble cause. I think mainly people use it as weapons. I know I have a neighbor that uses it, and then I have another neighbor, I believe he's here today, that that is against night pollution altogether. So I applaud her efforts, and I would definitely do what I can do to do that. I actually removed some lights. So, but anyway, I want to talk about the mosquito vector control district again today. I think all my comments for the years I've been doing this are in vain. And I probably won't do it to this level. I won't bother you guys anymore with this. I'll probably go above. But anyway, because I think it's an in-house problem and it's not going to get solved by my lone efforts. Actually, I think, I can comment that the vector control actually did an illegal, I want to call it breaking and entering, but they entered my property with a warrant to look at my back swimming pool. And I still haven't got to the bottom of why they did that. The general manager and the trustees, I have no input. I addressed the general manager with no response. And stuff like that, and cease and desist about reporting mosquitoes breeding in my neighborhood, unfounded. I just welcome any litigation because because it's so blatantly abusive, just to intimidate, and that's what they're doing when they do this. And well, anyway, enough negativity on that. I know the vector control is not performing the duties they need to perform, especially down in the Mecca area and the East Valley, Cathedral City. They did some treatments over there between Ramon and Dinah Shore, and they alluded to the fact that they were going to spray the whole area. They only did half. Again, they deceived the people in that area of mosquito control, which they never got, or half of them didn't get. And if you're going to do stuff like that, you need to let the public know and not do these studies without public input. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker is Marcus Moda Medi.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Marcus Motamedi. I'm actually here regarding etags.net. I'm a startup company here in the Coachella Valley. I've actually invented this product in Coachella Valley, and I'll give you a brief story of how I invented it and how it applies to the community, and how I would like to reach out and hopefully receive some help from you guys to connect with the community in large. In 2014, I was living in Dubai. My mom was having bouts of pneumonia, and she is a retired teacher in Joshua Tree. My background is IV pharmaceuticals, and basically I came to Joshua Tree to take care of my mom, and we had to call 911 several times. And the second time when 911 arrived, basically the first responders, who do a fantastic job and are always, the way I see it, they do the best job they can with the most limited resources that anyone has in their specific industries. And basically they asked me for some medications and medical information, and I found myself running around the house picking up pills and picking up paperwork and then putting in a bag and chasing the ambulance. And this is 2014, and we're in 21st century, and I was kind of baffled that we still don't have a technology that addresses this gap of information for first responders, EMT, and people who are in emergencies and incidences. So basically, by the second time, I had a product in my head that I thought I'm going to purchase online, and I thought it already exists, but it didn't, which is this. It's a QR medical ID. And basically, I kind of decided to do this on my own and provide that product since it wasn't out there, and I was actually surprised no one had invented it. Nevertheless, right now, a couple of years later, we've just launched, and again, in Coachella Valley, I work with CVEP, and I work with different, like the Alzheimer's and Palm Springs Police Department, but at the same time, I'm coming to city council meetings and asking them if they would invite me to a city council meeting where I can show videos. We have several videos on YouTube where I could provide free e-tags, free QR medical tags and necklaces to first responders to engage them in not only keeping themselves safe, because most first responders either have a dog tag that's engraving, and that's kind of embarrassing for 21st century, where I can provide them a digital format where they can provide coherent medical information. And at the same time, with the police officers, the same thing. They only have their blood type. And I'd like to provide the whole city with a free tag and 1 year of subscription so they can all utilize it and keep themselves safe. And hopefully, I'm a startup, I don't have a lot of marketing budget, but that way I can engage the community and provide as many free tags to people who need it and can afford it. At the same time, hopefully be able to not only save lives, introduce my product at the same time.
Okay, thank you so much. Perhaps you can submit all the information to our city manager, and we will pass it around.
What's his name, ma'am?
Right here,
Oh,
Isaiah
I'm
Hageman.
sorry, this is my first time.
No problem.
Thank you.
I'll give you a card. Come on up.
Oh,
Okay, and the next speaker will be Mr. Wally Melendez.
Well, good afternoon, City Council, our staff, employees, contractors, and we, the people of the Pueblo. So good to see you. I'm happy to see you all. I'm here thanks to the Brown Act that makes it easy for the Pueblo to get up in front of elected officials and administrators of the town. But I'm here to educate. I'm here to educate, and if you think about it, there is so much killing and maiming and destroying and bombing all over the world these days. Now, somebody has control of all that, of all those things. It's the so-called leaders. And most of the people of the world, for example, don't have a high school education like we have in America. Now, just take, for instance, Latin America. Now, how they are being brainwashed by the communists, which started in Cuba, and also equally take it, the Middle East, which is their education is even worse than the education in Latin America. The Muslims, the Islam religion, their teachers, their imams, their ayatollahs, have those people so controlled through religion. Because of their lack of education, they don't know the difference between religion and reality. Just like the communists are doing in Latin America these days. Think about it. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. The next speaker will be Bob Terry.
Good afternoon, staff and council. Please excuse my lack of energy today. I'm dealing with a little case of self-inflicted food poisoning. But I'm here on behalf of the Salton Sea. I imagine most of you saw today's headlines in the Desert Sun, some positive developments in the Salton Sea. One, Supervisor Ryan Kelly of IID has asked the state to declare a state of emergency for air quality. Don't know if it's going to happen, but it would be a big step. And it's the first time anybody's asked for that. We've been suggesting it for a little while, some of our members. in the same article, you will see references to the Salton Sea Summit that was this past Thursday and Friday at UC Riverside, San Bernardino. Highly attended, standing room only in their auditorium, when Wade Crowfoot told us that he's going to support multifaceted attacks on the problems of the Salton Sea, including seawater import. Now, this is the first time any state official has even come close to saying that. And I want to thank Rancho Mirage, the other cities, and the residents of Coachella Valley for their support to get us to this point. And I want to especially thank Dana for stepping up. We included some of his comments on our letters, our packets to the governor and Crowfoot about a month ago. And we had all 6 resolutions in the package, as well as a resolution from the California Democratic Party and California Green Party, and close to 5,000 signatures of the residents. And that's why they're finally looking at doing something positive for the sea. And I wanted to say that I mentioned at that event that we need to stop calling seawater import the long-term solution, because it's really the short-term solution. That just covers the playa, brings some life in so we can bring some fish back and bring some birds back. Long-term, we're going to have to desalinate a portion of it, and we're going to have to clean up what's there. But this is a big start, and I want to thank all of you guys for your help.
Thank you so much. The next speaker will be Chuck Parker.
I'll leave some of these in the back.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm here also with Bob and the Salton Sea Coalition, and very grateful to the council for their support of ocean water import. We did have some very good news last week, and tomorrow the Imperial County Board of Supervisors is going to be voting to ask for a declaration of a state of public health emergency. And at the meeting 2 weeks ago that Supervisor Ryan Kelly refers to, of the stakeholders out there, the Secretary Crowfoot and Congressman Ruiz were speaking emphatically on the need to streamline the permitting process and get things moving, and it looks like a state of emergency would do that. One of our members, Mark Johnson, recommended this last year, and I believe it would be a very helpful thing. Just to bring you up to date also, there'll be a resolution going before the City Council of Cathedral City next Wednesday, and we expect them to vote for it. Indian Wells will be considering a resolution on their next meeting November 7th. And in 2 days on Wednesday, we're going to be doing a study session with the council in Coachella. So we're hoping those 3 councils will make it unanimous here in the city of the Coachella Valley. So I have 2 articles here that I know I put in a packet for you guys last spring, but these are both by Mark Johnson. Maybe the secretary or the clerk could make you copies. I rushed over here. But one, declare Salton Sea watershed a natural disaster and appoint a federal overseer, is Mark's take on how to cut through the bureaucratic tangle at the Salton Sea. And in this article, Seawater Importation Proposals, Preliminary Review, at the end, he offers the Everglades project in Florida as a possible template for what can be done and farming best management practices. So we're all optimistic. One of the things I'm concerned about is the state is going to hire an independent consultant to reevaluate all 11 proposals and 2 more. And I'm just hoping they hire a really objective agency or institution to evaluate that. Mention in the article was made of UC Riverside, and some of the scientists I've talked to at UC Riverside have made up their mind against water imports, so hopefully that won't impair the evaluation. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So that's the end of the yellow cards. Is there anyone in the audience that would also like to come up to the podium and make a public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comments and move on to City Council Board member comments and reports. And maybe we could start with Dana.
Excuse me. That will be consistent with the last two speakers, because that's the same subject I wanted to discuss. First, I'd like to thank the Desert Sun for its excellent coverage of the meeting last week at Cal State University and the group who put it together, more or less conducted by Imperial County Supervisor Ryan Kelly, concerning the immense challenges of the Salton Sea. The article made it clear that the health issues befalling Imperial County residents and Riverside residents, to a lesser degree, cannot wait any longer for progress to be made. Classes are closing because of foul air and its impact on health of children and adults alike. The talk has gone on too long and has turned into a debate of sorts concerning what the best remedial approach might be. Certainly the time has come from one or both counties to declare emergency action. The Imperial supervisors voted it a crisis beyond their control. To all of those who are guided by what approach going forward is in the best interests of both Imperial County and Riverside County, I would like to suggest that a meeting be convened by Imperial County supervisors, inviting whomever they wish or feel would be productive, including Rancho Mirage council members who wish to attend to discuss. And that could be expanded in the event some of the other Valley cities decide that they'd like to get aboard this project. One of the issues that will be discussed will be the Mexican state and national representatives and the issues they bring to the discussion. They have a lot of motivation to get the cleanup shifting into high gear. We have to decide once and for all whether the Riverside interests are going to move in a different direction. If they are not, that is no reason for the rest of us to tackle the larger problems. I should say, if they are moving in a different direction, that is no reason for the rest of us not to tackle larger problems. But in the meanwhile, until Riverside County shows some genuine interest in solving the larger problems, rather some no-salt approach, like some no-salt approach, we cannot make progress by sitting on our hands and continuing to talk. I was pleased to hear that somehow the no-salt approach may be waning and hopefully fading out. I would have been at that meeting, by the way, except I have a 15-year-old grandson whose birthday was that morning in Los Angeles. And for that, for parents of the child, there is no excuse if a grandfather is not present. I wanted to be at that meeting badly. At any rate, but in the meanwhile, until Riverside County shows some genuine interest into solving the larger problems rather than some no-salt approach, we cannot make progress. Even though it is far from ideal, it is clear that we either sit on our hands while forever discussing claimed needs for two separate approaches to solving the immense health issues confronting us. Are we going to have an objective of cleaning the playa, all of it, or create some artificial lakes within saltwater of the north? Are we going to spend money doing both? We need to begin having discussions with our Imperial County friends and allies I believe Mexico is as interested in resolving the health and logistic problems as we are, and that they would participate in a meaningful way. We've been spinning our wheels with little to no progress being made. I hope the Imperial County leadership will continue this type of approach. And again, thank all of you for your efforts in you're the ones that are behind this whole movement. And a lot of us are tagging along because we see joining you is in the best interest of all of the people in both of the counties. And I'm really very proud to be part of your group. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Dana. Okay, we'll move on now to Charlie. Did you have any comments?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, on Sunday, October the 13th, I had the pleasure of attending the 32nd Annual Desert Theater League's Desert Star Awards, the ceremony honoring the performing arts programs in the Coachella Valley and high desert communities, consisting of professional stage and school programs. This event was held at Sun City Palm Desert with approximately 400 people in attendance for the sit-down dinner event. Lamone Carr Desert Theatricals, in partnership with the City of Rancho Mirage, garnered 6 major awards for their productions held at the Rancho Mirage Amphitheater in 2019. Lamone Carr burst on the scene last year with their big band Christmas, shown at the amphitheater, which won 1 of the 6 awards. The new season 2019-2020 is now on sale for the 6 performances this season. 4 of the performances available will have a dinner dining experience, plus single seat tickets will be available at our newly remodeled venue. Rancho Mirage is proud to be a partner in this outstanding theatrical season, available to all the residents of the Coachella Valley at our amphitheater. The 2019-2020 season features our children's production of Seussical Jr. This one is free of charge. The big band Christmas also will be free of charge. Cole Porter's Anything Goes, mostly Broadway, Mamma Mia, and A Grand Night for Singing will have the dinner dining experience. For more information on the series, go to www.deserttheatricals.com. Also visit the city's website at www.ranchomirage.gov for all the events at the amphitheater this season. You may also call City Hall at 760-324-4511. That's 760-324-4511. Thank you, Mayor.
And thank you, Charlie. And now moving on to this side, Richard.
Thank you, Mayor. And a couple of brief comments for us all today. The temperatures begin to cool down. It's a perfect time to get outdoors. The City of Rancho Mirage has partnered with the Coachella Valley Desert Recreation and Parks District to provide an opportunity to do so. The partnership brings 2 fitness programs led by a certified fitness director to the Rancho Mirage Community Park Amphitheater. The programs available are Chair Fitness, I think I could do that, Chair Fitness, and Achieve Adult Fitness. Both are free of charge in the Rancho Mirage Amphitheater for residents 18 years and older. Chair Fitness is held every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. This program provides modified exercise targeting all major muscle groups to help improve flexibility and range of motion. Active Adult Fitness is held every Thursday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. This program provides a full body workout and also the core treatment at work. turn the page. Excuse me. The programs will run every Tuesday and Thursday until the end of the year. The importance of remaining physically active to help body and mind cannot be overstated. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Bring your friends and neighbors. We look forward to seeing you all at the Rancho Mirage Community Park Amphitheater. Look forward to see you again. Remember, that's Tuesdays and Thursdays at the amphitheater. One last item, Mayor. I'd like to report on the League of California Cities meeting that was held this last week in Long Beach. Almost 2,000 individuals attended from 482 cities in the state. Those who attended from our city were Ted Weil, Isaiah Hegerman, our city manager, the city attorney, Steve Quintanilla, and myself. The purpose of the three-day meeting was to bring representatives of large and small cities together who would discuss topics that are common to all of us. Some of the discussions that were held included homelessness, affordable housing, disaster preparedness, and pension liability. I think we all left with a better understanding of the issues and how to address them here in our local area. Look forward to working with staff and the fellow councilmen as we work together to resolve the complicated issues that were presented. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Richard. And now moving on to Ted.
Thank you, Iris. As Richard said, several of us attended the league meetings last week. I've attended a number of them over the years, and I think the major benefit from my perspective is the networking and the confirmation in talking to the other cities as to, frankly, and I know this sounds a little braggadocio, but how far above the curve Rancho Mirage is. When you ask other cities about where they stand, whether it be financially, bonded indebtedness, pension liability, and so forth, we're significantly ahead of the curve. So that's always reassuring. It makes us feel good, and it's nice to be there, but it's always nice to get back. On the other hand, I'd like to report something that I'm pleased to direct your attention to, and that's the AT&T cell phone tower that had been approved by both the Planning Commission and City Council several months ago, and it's under construction. Although these pictures show little progress, we are hopeful it will be in operation during the first 6 months of next year. In addition, we have recently received an application for an additional cell tower in Rancho Mirage that will be reviewed by the Planning Commission in the near future. I have talked in the past about the telephone companies using the city as an excuse for their poor reception. I know for one, I live in Mission Hills, and the reception over the years has been poor. The carriers will claim that the inability to get permits for the construction of a cell tower from the city. I've said before, and I'll reiterate it, there is nothing further from the truth. As a matter of fact, the tower under construction at the Westin includes a financial incentive bonus from the city that if it is completed and operational within 1 year. This shows the aggressiveness and positive attitude of the City Council, and that we will do everything possible to encourage cell phone towers to be constructed. The map I'm about to show you depicts information that emphasizes our commitment for improved cell coverage. There have been 21 cell towers approved and constructed, not counting the new tower at the Westin. There have been 11 that were approved by the Planning Commission and never built by the carrier, even after going through the elaborate application process. There have been a total of 49 applications submitted, 37 were approved, that's 76%, and only 21 constructed, 43%. The telephone companies let the permits expire or frankly merely change their mind, probably for economic purposes. The location of every tower in Rancho Mirage is indicated, as well as those that had been approved, withdrawn, or the application expired. If you would like a copy of the map that I've just shown you, please give me a call at 760-324-4511. Ask for Johnny, and I will email you the map or print a copy that you can get from me at City Hall. I am hopeful that the inclusion of the new cell tower and those that are being considered will improve our reception and solve a gap that has existed for a period of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ted. Okay, now we'll move on to my comments, and I have 4 of them actually, but they're all very brief. And I wanted to start out with something that's really, really important because, as some of you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I want to thank Betty Ford, who was a grand lady who brought so much to our attention as far as health and care, and we're just thrilled that she was a resident with her husband in Rancho Mirage, and the attention that she brought to breast cancer when people did not speak about it. So this is really just a brief reminder that although October is Breast Awareness Month for cancer, it is also not the only time that you need to think about it. So whatever your doctor recommends, whether it's once a year or twice a year, to have checkups, that's something that's up to you and your doctor, and you should really adhere to his advice or her advice. But I also want to mention something that is not just for women anymore, because although over 2 million women developed breast cancer in 2018, there are now trial studies being done on males who might be at risk. So, to all the males who are out there, whether you want to call them breasts or pecs, just be aware that you might be vulnerable also, and you should be aware of taking notice of any changes. And if there are any changes, please don't hesitate to notify your doctor. Thank you with that, and I will move on to our flu shot clinic, and that's going to be taking place on Thursday, October 24th. The city will be offering a free flu shot clinic for Rancho Mirage seniors 60 years young. The clinic will be held at the community room at the Rancho Mirage Library beginning at 8 a.m. and continuing until the doses run out, but certainly no later than 10 a.m. No advance registration is necessary. However, seniors need to provide evidence of their senior status and Rancho Mirage residency to get the free flu shot. So for further information, please call Rancho Mirage Library and Observatory at 760-341-7323. That's 760-341-7323. Something else that's really important is our Cert training that we offer. And if you're not familiar with Cert, it is the Community Emergency Response Team. And this is a basic 3-day course. It's regarding becoming a leader in disaster training, and it's given by Rancho Mirage, so it's free of charge. It's 24 hours of instruction from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a 1-hour lunch break, and classrooms and hands-on exercises by Rancho Mirage Fire Department personnel. It's exceptional as far as a training class, as far as making you aware of disaster preparedness, fire safety, medical triage, search and rescue, structure, size up, and more. So please take advantage of the opportunity. I know I've done it, and my husband has done it, and a variety of us up here have done it. And I couldn't tout it more strongly because we will all be the first responders should a disaster occur. And the other Cert Training class is going to be for a brush up, and that will be for all the people who have already taken the class. If you're interested in having a refresher course, please don't hesitate to call Brian Kephart. He's ahead of our code enforcement, and he can be reached at 324-4511. Almost gave you my telephone number. 760-324-4511. Thank you. And I have one more thing to mention, and Isaiah can help me with a gal, and her name is Wilhelmina. And Wilhelmina was made at the Children's Discovery Museum. And I'm always talking about how great the programs are there and the fun things they do with all the children, with the adults. And Wilhelmina is just one more example of one of the fun things. So even if you don't have a cornfield and you don't have a vegetable garden, just know that Wilhelmina is darling, and take your kids, take your neighbors, participate in some of their programs, and you'll be able to come home with a beautiful doll like Wilhelmina, and she's always great for just decorations. Thank you so much, and thank you, Isaiah.
Is this going to Dana's office?
It's going right to Dana's office. Okay, and we'll help build him his cornfield.
Good for Halloween.
It's great for Halloween, it's great for the holidays, and it's thrilling to see the programs they put on at the Children's Museum, and everybody can participate on a variety of levels. So, thank you again, Isaiah, for your brute strength, and we'll now move on to our city manager comments, and those are going to be done by Isaiah Hagerman, and here he is. Thank you.
No comments today. Thank you, Mayor.
No comments. Okay, so now we'll move on to the approval of our minutes from the October 3rd regular meeting. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so please vote.
And motion carries 4-0.
Wait a second, Dana didn't vote.
Okay, let's try that one more time. I pushed the button too soon.
Everyone needs to revote.
Please enter your vote one more time. Councilmember Townsend, one more time. Sorry about that. Okay, now we have 5. And motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Just like
I'm
teamwork.
sorry, 4-1.
Okay.
Is that correct?
That is.
Dana, did you vote no?
Did you mean to abstain?
Did you vote no?
I voted yes.
Okay, let's try one more time.
One more time.
He does
Third
not have
time's
to
a charm.
recuse himself on the minutes.
Only just now.
Not on the minutes.
Okay. All right. So Dana does not have to recuse himself on the minutes.
Correct.
So let's all try it again.
Okay,
All right.
till
good
it comes up.
teamwork.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the consent calendar, and this is going to be handled by our city manager, Isaiah Hagerman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Members of the council, you have 6 items on your consent calendar for consideration. Item number 1 is to waive the full reading of all ordinances introduced or adopted pursuant to this agenda. Item number 2 is the adoption of ordinance number 1157, second reading, amending the text of Title 17 zoning to permit fast food restaurants in large-scale shopping centers in certain commercial districts. Item number 3 is the adoption of ordinance number 1158, second reading, approving the statutory development agreement by and between the City of Rancho Mirage and In-N-Out Burgers. Item number 4 are 5 SAF awards totaling $9,500. Item number 5 are 4 contracts for your consideration. Item number 6 are demands, and I would request that the council pull items 2 and 3 off consent. We do have public comment on those 2 items. We are here to answer any questions.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and approve items 1, 4, 5, and 6? And
So moved.
I'll second that.
okay, please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, so now we will move on to Dana. He has a few words to say.
Yes, I'm going to recuse myself because of an apparent conflict of interest respecting consent calendar items 2 and 3.
Okay, thank you, Dana. All right. Now we shall move on to the public comments in regard to these items. And first will be Brad Anderson.
Thank you again, Brad Anderson, 37043 Forward Drive in the city of Rancho Mirage. I know at the last meeting you voted to get this thing going with the in and out, and I couldn't stay for the whole meeting, but I had to leave, so I really wish I could have. I understand I probably wouldn't have had any impact, but anyway, I never do. You know, I was opposed to that. I think the city residents spoke, especially the people that were directly involved, of how they wanted to proceed or have this city continue into the future. So I guess my main concern was that this zoning change happened to this one shopping center. So this one shopping center is really going to advance themselves financially because of this, and the businesses in there. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing for the city for the tax revenue, because it's one of the only taxes that, well, anyway, you guys know all that. But the city residents, I had the same thing happen off Sunny Lane 20-some years ago, where they wanted to put a park in. The city residents or the residents in that area rallied, sent letters to City Hall. No, we don't want a park here. So, and they took that from eminent domain from 3 other people. So that sat around for 20 plus years, and then another 12 years and so forth. And then now it's houses, you know. So it didn't happen because the people didn't want it. And the same thing with this fast food and trash that's going to happen and all this. And I know I've had a business next to me, a home business, that's been established with the help of the city for over a decade now. And I guess my main concern now is this is the way the city is going. You should allow all the businesses to have fast food and not just restrict it to one area, and then I can move. No, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. The next speaker will be Jim Elliott.
Hi, I'm Jim Elliott. I live at 72447 Magnesia Falls. You've seen me here before, and I'm back. Sorry. I want to say a couple things regarding the 2 ordinances. I think you probably saw the news that there was a brawl at the La Quinta In-N-Out last Friday, 10 o'clock. The Riverside County Sheriffs had to respond, got out of hand, and okay, so maybe it's one-off, but that's the kind of thing I think we're inviting with this particular location. One big difference about the La Quinta location is it's not in the middle of a bunch of residences, so I wanted to make that point. Also, I think you're aware of the city of Campbell this week up in Northern California voted 3-2 against the In-N-Out that was proposed. I watched their video like we have here. It's very interesting. It could have been here. The same issues are raised. It just changed the names, same thing. But what was different was that their council, first of all, they did a full environmental impact report. So they knew they had a lot more information than our city has. With all due respect, what was prepared was not adequate. And I'm going to stay on that vein. So what struck me is the council actually listened to the comments of the people, like we did a couple weeks ago or a week ago. The council clearly had not made up their minds. They did not read from pre-prepared text that it was, as you guys did, with all due respect, you had your minds made up, in my opinion. That wasn't just my opinion. A lot of people noticed that your minds were already made up. My concern is that you don't have all the information at your, whether or not you like In-N-Out or I like In-N-Out, or that, I don't think the city has enough information. You did not follow due process. I know you've received a letter from our attorney stating that for various reasons, what things were ignored, what things you needed to do, and if you go down this path and vote these ordinances through, there will be a lawsuit that will be filed this week. And I'm sorry to say that because I'm not in favor of lawsuits. The winners usually are the lawyers, and that's not what I want to do. And I don't want to waste city resources on you defending yourselves against us. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, the next speaker will be Stephen Jaffe.
Hello. None of you know me. My wife and I recently moved to Rancho Mirage in August. We live on White Sun Way and the White Sun Estates. I'm not going to address any of the legal arguments that Jim and the lawyers have had. So why did we move here? Why did we move to Rancho Mirage? Every city has a personality, and we looked around, and we moved here because it is a quiet, elegant, classy place to live. And I was not able to come to the last city council meeting where the In-N-Out issue was voted on. I was in Washington, D.C., but I watched it a day later on the YouTube. And I'm looking at it, and I'm saying to myself, what are these folks doing? And I'm here today to ask you, what are you doing? It's undisputable that the majority, not all, but the majority of residents who have spoken out on this issue are opposed to this. And I'm speaking as a recovering politician. It is very important for all of you to remember who your constituents are and who your constituents are not. Your constituents are not businesses. Businesses are not people. Your constituency is not the whole Coachella Valley. Your constituents are the residents and the voters of the city, and we don't want it. So I urge you to reconsider this. Once this thing gets going, it is the start of a very long and slippery slope. Nobody in this room doesn't believe that the In-N-Out burger, if it gets in, will be the last one we'll see. It's the Hamel's nose under the tent kind of argument. And I will close by saying this to you folks. What do you want Rancho Mirage to look like 5, 10, and 20 years from now? Do you want it to look like Cathedral City going down Highway 111? Because that's where In-N-Out is headed. That's what this will cause. I understand there is economic development issues that some of you like. Well, this will be jobs, this will bring people. But I listened to the financial condition of the city, and council member here bragged about what great shape financially the city of Rancho Mirage is. So it is in the interests of the city to preserve its character and to preserve its personality. And as a new resident, but a voter, I strongly urge you to please take your time, do the CEQA study, and reconsider your vote on this matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there anyone else from the audience that would like to speak? Okay, so we will close the public comments at this point and move back to Isaiah. And will you continue with the consent calendars, and we will bring Dana back, or are we going to move on to item number 2 and have the full discussion?
Yeah, so these are just second readings. It's actually back with the council now for any potential motion.
Okay. So when we get to item number 2, which is adopt ordinance number 1157, second reading, amending the text of Title 17, zoning to permit fast food restaurants in large-scale shopping centers in certain commercial districts. That's item number 2. May I have a motion for that?
Make a motion to accept item number 2 as written.
And may I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, please vote.
Excuse me, motion carries 401 with Mayor Pro Tem Hobart recused.
Thank you, Christy. And then we will move on to item number 3, which is adopt ordinance number 1158, second reading, approving the statutory development agreement by and between the City of Rancho Mirage and In-N-Out Burgers. May I have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion that item number 3 is written should be adopted.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Richard. And now please vote.
And motion carries 401 with Mayor Pro Tem Hobart recused.
Okay, thank you, Christy. So as long as the rest of the consent calendar has been approved, we will ask Dana to come back. And
Just killed a beautiful city.
okay, so now we're moving on to item number 7, and this is reports and informational items. And this is the Palm Springs International Airport Commission update by Bill Reisen, and he is the airport commissioner. Reisen. I'll get it right one of these days. So sorry.
Good afternoon, Mayor Spotrich and city council members, city staff, and Rancho Mirage residents. First of all, I want to thank you again for allowing me to represent you on the Palm Springs International Airport Commission, representing you and the city of Rancho Mirage. First of all, another item, I don't know, some people may not be aware of the Palm Springs International Airport Commission, but it's the airport is owned and operated by the city of Palm Springs. And the commission is comprised of 19 people, 10 from the city of city of Palm Springs, and then 1 from each of the other 8 cities in the valley, and 1 from the Riverside County. So that's what the commission is all about, and our job is to review everything that goes on at the airport, financially, construction, whatever, and make recommendations to the Palm Springs City Council. So with that, the airport is experiencing additional or airline passenger traffic is really up again every year. It's approaching 10% increase in number of passengers coming through the airport since last year. We're going to be about 2.4 million passengers by the end of the year, just a couple of more months. Even this past summer, I think the first time that I can recall, our passenger traffic has increased during the summer months. So people are coming to the Coachella Valley in the summer, believe it or not. And of course, this is good for our economy. More people coming to the valley, the more all the communities benefit. Since we all live under the flight path to the airport, you're going to experience much more traffic, airline traffic coming in the next few months. Our number of operations, which is takeoff and landings at the airport, almost doubles during our winter season compared to the summertime. So you'll see a lot more overflights with airplanes coming in. There's, as far as the airline, we have a new airline operating out of Palm Springs, Concours, and it's operating one daily flight to Sacramento. And we haven't had a flight to Sacramento since I can remember. So a lot of people want to go to Sacramento, the state capital, for whatever reason, business. And we have now about 11 airlines serving the airport, and the one that the most prevalent is Alaska Airlines, which comprises about 25% of all the airline traffic coming in and out of Palm Springs. So there are a lot of Alaska Airlines coming in here. Financially, the airport is in excellent condition, similar to the city of Rancho Mirage. The airport has a lot of reserve in almost every different fund that we have. It's interesting to know that one of the largest revenue sources at the airport, believe it or not, is from car rentals. The airport receives, I think it's $10 per car rental transaction. And that amounts to about $7 million a year in income funds from the rental car at the airport.
Who gets that income?
The airport. The airport and the rental car companies have negotiated, and they pay the airport $10 per transaction. And as I said, it amounts to roughly $7 million a year. One of the other major revenue sources is what we call PFCs, Passenger Facility Charge. And when you buy a ticket, every airport, the federal government authorized this, many years ago, that the airports can charge a PFC. And right now, it's at $4.50. So every time you buy a ticket to depart an airport, the airline charges you $4.50, and that goes to the airport. And that amounts to roughly, about $4 million a year from that. So there's a lot of other revenue, of course, the landing fees by the airlines, concessions in the terminal building. Anyway, the airport's in very, very good financial situation. Excuse me. Some of the construction projects that are coming up, we've been talking about the ticketing wing expansion for 2 or 3 years at least. Well, it's finally here. All the permits, the planning, everything is complete. We have a contractor that is starting, and the ticketing wing expansion also includes updating the baggage handling behind the scenes. When you put your bag on that carousel or belt line, you don't know where it goes, do you? It goes back, it goes, and the TSA goes through and checks it all, and it finally gets to the airplane that it's supposed to get to. Anyway, it's an antiquated system back there, so that'll be a major part of this project, and it's starting now. But the actual construction in the ticketing wing, where the passengers are, won't start until March. We don't want to have major construction in the terminal during our high season period. So if you're going to be traveling out of the airport after March, you can expect some construction delays and inconveniences, whatever. But it'll be a major project to enlarge that ticketing wing area. It'll move the ticket booths back about 15 feet from what they are now. So major project. And that's costing about $30 million to do. Major project for the airport. Some of the future projects coming up in the next couple of years will be the rental car area expansion. And that is going to push the baggage area wall, the north wall out, I don't know, 10, 15 feet. It'll enlarge the rental car parking area, and that's a major project coming up. That'll be about $20 million. And then coming up also is the replacing of all the fire trucks and the aircraft rescue vehicles. They are getting old and need to be replaced. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of years. That's a major project. I don't have a price on that, but it's probably in the millions. The other one coming up is the passenger jet bridges, where you walk out from the terminal to the airplane. Those are, again, quite old. So those will be either replaced or remodeled and updated. We don't know yet. That's still a few years off, but it's in the works. One other item, I am on the noise committee at the airport, and that committee within the commission was formed many years ago when the runway was extended. I think that was in the mid to late 90s. And the runway was extended, and citizens or residents nearby were very concerned about, oh my God, they're going to have 747s come in here, noise and noise. Well, obviously that didn't happen. But anyway, the noise committee, I am a member, there's 5 of us on the noise committee, and we review any noise complaints that we receive and try to mitigate any noise impacts that the airport has. And not too many noise complaints lately. Most of them, surprising, is from the Sunmore development, which is directly west of the airport, not in the landing or takeoff pattern at all, but they're very close to the ramp area, and the noise from the airplane engine, not only the airline jets, but the based operator there that handles a lot of personal corporate jets and propeller airplanes. When they're only a few blocks from this ramp area, and so they get some noise. And so a lot of our complaints come from that, and we've tried to mitigate that as much as we can. So with that, that's what's going on at the airport. Any questions, comments that I may address?
Bill?
Yes.
Do you get any revenue from the Uber?
Yes, just like the taxis. I don't know exactly. It's not much. Yes, because we provide a place for them to park and get their passengers. So yes, we do get some. And again, I don't know what the figure is, but it's minor. Anything else?
Any questions from council over here? No? No, I think you've filled us in on everything. Thank you so much for coming and telling us all about it.
Thank you, Bill.
Bill, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
Thank you for having
And
me.
that's Bill Reeson.
Reason, yes, you got
Yes.
it. Ted knows about that.
All right. You take care. Thank you. All right. So we're going to move on now to public hearings and item number 8. And this is going to be handled by Jeremy Gleim, and he's going to be talking about zoning text amendment case and various amendments intended to eliminate discrepancies and clarify certain development standards.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. So for your consideration today are various amendments to Title 17, which is the zoning title of the city's municipal code. And like the mayor said, simply just to clarify certain development standards and to eliminate some discrepancies. So I'm just going to run through them real quickly here. The first one is there are 3 amendments to Title 17.08.020. Those are residential districts development standards. We're going to add a footnote to reference another section of the code which already exists. We're going to eliminate a maximum listed height for accessory structures because that's in discrepancy with other sections of the code. And we're going to revise the density that's listed under the RM zone to reflect a general plan update that goes all the way back to 2005. The next one is 17.20.070, fences, hedges, and walls. And what we're going to do here is establish material requirements for fences, hedges, and walls. And this is in consistency with the city's general plan. Program CD 5.1A recommends or encourages these types of materials, so we're just memorializing that in the municipal code. The next one is Chapter 17.20.150, setback regulations. 2 amendments here. The first is to clarify the minimum pool and spa setbacks. And the second is to revise the minimum setbacks for front yard pools. And that's being done in concert with a cleanup item from the last zoning text amendment that was done in 2015. The next one is Chapter 17.30.190, accessory uses and structures. We're going to clarify setbacks for accessory structures that are less than 6 feet in height, and also establish a single formula for determining the aggregate size of accessory structures. Currently, there are 3 different ways to do that, but we typically only use one of them. The next one is Chapter 17.32.130, time extensions for development plans. We had language in the municipal code that talked about extending preliminary development plans if they were submitted and approved in conjunction with tentative maps, but we're just clarifying the way we would address those if they were processed subsequent to an approved tentative map. So just further clarification. And lastly, we're going to amend Chapter 17.90.020, definitions of specialized terms and phrases, to clarify the definition of an accessory structure. Just change the term community development to development services, and clarify the definition of a hotel. So basically what happens is planning staff, over the course of their duties, identify some discrepancies or things that need clarification. So once or twice a year, we bundle them up and bring them forward for your consideration. So with that, the commission reviewed the proposed text amendments at their meeting on September 26th of this year and recommended that the city council introduce and read by title ordinance next in line to adopt the amendments listed as items A through F in the staff report. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Jeremy. Any questions on
Yes,
this
I
item?
do. Jeremy, on number B, just a few clarification on fences, hedges, and walls. Do we have the right to go in and tell somebody that has a hedge that is 12 feet tall and a neighbor is complaining that it's too high and blocks their view? Or can you do something with that? Fences and walls, like on the front or the sides, we do have a restriction of height, don't we?
Yeah, so walls and fences do have height limitations, 6-foot maximum height pursuant to the municipal code. But as far as hedges and tree materials go, the only limitation that we have is for things in the rear yard, nothing in the front yard or the side yards.
Okay, so that also would apply back to HOAs, that if they came and say, my neighbor's fence along the side of the house is too high, it blocks my view, blah, 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 I want to cut. It has nothing to do with, the city cannot come in and do anything with that.
As far as vegetation, no. And then any disputes they have regarding their own CCNRs would be a civil matter between them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeremy, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On page 8-6, the middle paragraph talks about stone, masonry, and wrought iron. Do we consider chain link different from wrought iron?
Yes. Chain link is specified in the municipal code as a separate material.
And chain link is not allowed in our city, is that correct?
Chain link is only permitted in certain instances in the estate residential zone.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so there are no further questions. So I will make the motion. Excuse me. And if there are any questions or comments from the public, now is the time. Maybe you could come up to the podium. Seeing none, we'll close the public comments, and I will make the motion. So an ordinance of the City Council, I will move that this be amended. Residential Districts General Development Standards of Chapter 17.08, Residential Districts, Section 17.20.070, Fences, Hedges, and Walls, and Section 17.20.150, Setback Regulations and Exceptions of Chapter 17.20, General Property and Use Standards, Section 17.30.190, Accessory Uses and Structures of Chapter 17.30, Standards for Specific Land Uses, Section 17.42.130, Time Extensions for Development Plans of Chapter 17.42, Development Plan Permits, and Section 17.90.020, Definitions of Specialized Terms and Phrases of Chapter 17.90, Definitions of Title 17, Zoning of the Rancho Mirage Municipal Code. May I have a second? Second. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Please vote.
Can I have a question?
Okay, we have a question first.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Jeremy. Jeremy, is there any situation where the city can come in and do something if a wall conforms to code, but because of the landscape, it is either makes the wall extremely high or extremely low? Is there, and in that process, neighbors may be, affected.
The only regulations that we currently have with regard to the height of vegetation is for new developments, and that's for rear yard vegetation. So if an existing home had a fence that was in compliance with the code and they let a hedgerow grow, above the height of the fence, the city can't go in and tell them to cut it down.
Thank you.
Okay, does that answer your question, pretty much?
It deals with it.
Oh, it deals with it, all right.
Let me just dovetail on what Dana's just saying. If in the back or the side, there is a berm or a raised part of the lot that is 5 or 6 feet high, and then we have the restriction of 6 or whatever it is to build the wall or put the hedges in, is that all taken into consideration? The height of the berm and the wall, which would bring it up to 15 feet.
Yeah, so all residential lots have approved pad elevations and grading plans. And so walls are built consistent with the grading plan. So For instance, property lines, if there's a difference in elevation between one property and the next, we measure the height of the wall from the higher property. So there could be situations where one side is higher than the other, but that's how it's written in the municipal code now.
Is that kind of it?
It's hard to visualize.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay.
Okay, so we have, thank you, Jeremy. All right, we have a
There's
motion and a
already a
second.
motion and a second on the floor.
Yes, so we have a motion and a second, so please vote.
And motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Christy. All right, moving on to item number 9. This is going to be handled by Associate Planner Ben Torres, and this is regarding historic preservation. And thank you for presenting this, Ben.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and City Council members. The item before you is a request from Melissa and James Ritchie requesting historic resource designation for the residents located at 70417 Los Pueblos Way. The 3-bedroom residence is located on the south side of Los Pueblos Way, as shown in red on the map. The home was built in 1958 and is within the Tamarisk Ranchos Historic District. The boundaries of the district are shown in red below. This is one of the last 2 remaining homes within Tamarisk Ranchos that does not have historic resource designation. Residences within Tamarisk Ranchos were designed by architect William Kreisel, who is considered a pioneer in mid-century modern architecture. Along Los Pueblos Way, the home is primarily screened by large ficus hedges, and the flat roof garage with deep roof overhangs is the most prominent visible feature. The entire north elevation is shown below, stitched together from 3 different photographs due to the existing landscaping conditions on the site. Here we have the home's east and south elevations. The exterior of the home primarily consists of board and batten, natural rock, and stucco. Along the south elevation, a large expanse of windows opens up to the common recreation and pool area, which helps create a seamless indoor-outdoor experience. The west elevation is primarily screened with lush landscaping. The top left image shows a close-up of one of the home's unique, tall, narrow windows that are divided into 3 squares. The Historic Preservation Commission previously toured this residence on March 12, 2013, and provided a list of items that needed to be modified and replaced. These requested revisions were further discussed at the July 9, 2013 Historic Preservation Commission meeting. The homeowners completed their applicable home modifications, which included removing a garden window box and replacing it with a casement window, replacement of a side door with a plain surface model, and providing a windowless garage door. The Historic Preservation Commission recently, on September 11, 2019, reviewed the detailed pictures of the entire residence and requested changes. 2 of the 3 commissioners that were present at that meeting were familiar with the property and recommended against a property tour due to the high-quality photographs provided. The homeowners have done an excellent job in restoring key aspects of the home to showcase its iconic mid-century modern design. The Historic Preservation Commission voted 2-1 not to tour the property and recommend historic resource designation. At this time, staff is recommending that the City Council adopt resolution number next in order, designating the residential home located at 70417 Los Pueblos Way, Rancho Mirage, California, assessor's parcel number 674095002 as a historic resource. That concludes staff's presentation, and staff is available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Are there any questions from council? None on this side? On this side?
On this side?
None on this side either. Okay, any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, we will close the public comments and call for a motion.
I will make the motion that the City Council adopt resolution number next in order, designating the residential home located at 70417 Los Pueblos Way, Rancho Mirage, California, assessor parcel number 674-095-002, a historic resource. Congratulations, Melissa.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. We have a second. Okay, please vote.
And motion carries 5-0.
Okay, and now we're going to move on to item number 10. Ben. And this is also going to be presented by Ben Torres, Associate Planner, and this is also related to historic preservation.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. The item before you is a city-initiated request to formally remove historic resource designation from the residence located at 71785 Sahara Road. The subject residence is located near the intersection of Ocotillo Drive and Sahara Road, as shown here in the map. The home was built in 1938 by architects Van Pelt and Lind and was originally designed in a ranch modern architectural style. The property was one of the first to be designated a historic resource by the City Council on May 11th, 2004. During the process of updating a historic resources map, it was discovered that the subject property was not listed in the current Rancho Mirage Register of Historic Places. After conducting research of the city's records, limited documentation was found noting that the home's historic resource designation was withdrawn/relinquished on October 2011. In order to remove a structure's historic designation, the request is required to be presented to the Historic Preservation Commission for its review and recommendation to the City Council. There is no record that this process was previously done in 2011. The property is currently owned by C&D Builders and Developer, Inc., who purchased the property in 2017. Building permits were issued in 2017 for a home remodel, which consisted of an 82 square foot home addition, a 415 square foot detached garage, and an overall remodel of the residence. In 2019, building permits were issued to complete the previous work started in 2017. These changes can be seen when comparing two aerial images from 2016 and another from 2019, which show how the home's layout has been altered. This is a photograph taken on September 23rd, 2002, which is contained in the city's Historic Resources Survey, showcasing the home's ranch modern architectural style. When comparing street view images from 2016 before any alterations were made and 2018, you notice the changes on the roof line and additions on the top right images. On the bottom right image, there is a garage addition that is clearly visible. These photographs were taken last month, which show the home's current conditions and alterations along the roof line here. Before this process was started, staff sent certified letters to the property owner in August, informing them of the upcoming Historic Preservation Commission meeting and to establish a contact person. To this date, staff have not heard from the property owner. This item was presented at the September 11th, 2019 Historic Preservation Commission meeting, and a unanimous recommendation was made by the commission recommending formal removal of historic resource designation for the subject residence. At this time, staff is recommending that the City Council adopt resolution number next in order, formally removing historic resource designation from the residential home located at 71785 Sahara Road, Rancho Mirage, California, assessor's parcel number 684-353-002. That concludes staff's presentation, and staff is available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ben. Are there any questions on this side? Richard?
Ben, a question. Looking at page 10-2, there's the summary of the recommendation, and it just seems a little confusing where it says we removed the property in 2011, and now we're going back to remove it again.
So it was an informal removal of the property in 2011. There's no record that the property was properly removed per the municipal code requirements that require Historic Preservation Commission review and a final approval by the City Council. It's codified in the municipal code, and it looks like that process wasn't followed in 2011. So we're just clarifying the situation and formally removing it.
Okay. Do we have any other properties out there like this?
I don't think we do, but if I do come across a property like this, I'll be sure to bring it through the proper process.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Ted, any questions?
No, that was my question. I don't recall any other properties being removed from historical designation after the fact. This is the first one that I can recall.
Okay, any questions on this side?
Well, I think that's why from 2011, why it kind of fell through the cracks, because it hasn't been done. So they discovered it. Ben worked on it very diligently to bring this forward. So it's a rare situation.
Right.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Carol? Okay, please state your name and where you reside.
My name is Carol Leibowitz, and I live at 65 Calle de Oro, Rancho Mirage, California, and I'm a member of the Historic Preservation Commission. In light of this discovery, I would like to propose to Ben that we bring up at the next Historic Preservation Commission meeting that we make a tour of the designated homes at least once a year to make sure that nothing has been altered, and also work with the building department to make sure that no permits have been issued to approved designated resources.
Okay, thank you for your suggestion. And I know you work very closely with Ben, so you can work that out.
Yes, we can work
Thanks
it out.
for your
after.
service, Carol.
Thank you. Okay, so any further comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll close the public comments and call for a motion.
With your permission, Charlie,
You may do that.
that the City Council adopt resolution number next in order, formally removing historic resource designation from the residential home located at 71785 Sahara Road, Rancho Mirage, California, assessor parcel number 684-353-002.
I'll second it, Ted.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
And motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to item number 11, and that is going to be taken care of by Kofi Antobaum. He's the Director of Administrative Services. Thank you, Kofi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good afternoon, Council. This item is the first step in the city's standard process for annexation of development within the city. I would like okay, good. So as projected on your screen, the area shaded in red, it's the territory that is being proposed for annexation, and it's located on the south side of Highway 111 and at the signalized intersection and Bob Hope Drive. The proposed project is made up of a 3,470 square foot commercial building with a drive-through or a drive-up ATM is for a Chase Bank. PDP number 18005 was approved by the City Council on April 4, 2019, with the condition of approval to annex into Community Facilities District number 1. And so in accordance with this condition, the owner, JP Morgan Chase Bank, submitted a petition for annexation requesting that the City Council initiate annexation proceedings and to provide for an expedited approval of the annexation process. Staff recommends approval of the resolution attached to the staff report, and that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Kofi, what's the status of the building now?
I can take that one for you. So they've submitted all their building plans and grading plans, and they're currently being reviewed by both the engineering and building department.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this side?
Nope.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll close the public comments and call for a motion. And Charlie, would you like to do that?
I will make the motion then that the City Council adopt resolution number 2019 next in order, declaring the city's intention to annex territory to Community Facilities District number 1 and to levy a special tax therein for additional police and fire services. Preliminary approval, a map of the area proposed to be annexed, and schedule a public hearing to consider the annexation and the levy of the special tax for annexation number 180.
And I will second that. Please vote.
And motion carries 5-0.
Okay. And now we'll move on to item number 12, and this is an item that's going to be handled by Joseph Carpenter, our finance manager, and Kofi Antobaum, Director of Administrative Services.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Today's presentation will focus primarily on a review of the general fund operating and non-operating or capital budget versus actual results for the 2018-2019 fiscal year. The action you take this afternoon to amend the budget as requested in the staff report will serve as the mechanism to comply with our budgeting policy for financial reporting purposes. The general fund summary provides a high-level summary of the operating and non-operating revenues and expenditures of the general fund. Currently displayed on your screen are the fiscal year 18-19 amended budget, year-end actuals, and calculated difference between the two. If you focus your attention on the actual column, you will find for the fiscal year, the general fund had operating revenues of $29.7 million and expenditures of $23.7 million for an operating surplus of $6 million. This increased surplus was the result of both an increase in revenue and decrease in expenditures. The general fund had non-operating or capital revenues of $571,000 in various grants and expenditures of $2.2 million for various capital projects for a non-operating deficit of $1.6 million. This capital deficit is expected and normal, as not all capital projects are 100% reimbursed, and thus the general fund bears a portion of project costs. The next two slides will further detail the budget to actual variance for operating revenue and expenditures. This table provides highlights of the $2.2 million increase in actual recognized revenue versus budgeted revenue for the fiscal year. The city received $694,000 more in sales tax than budgeted for. While sales tax across all categories exceeded projections of finance staff and its sales tax consultant, a significant portion of this increase is from prior year receipts, the result of delays at the state in processing sales tax due to system upgrades. Additional revenue sources that significantly exceeded their budgeted projections were construction-related activities by $647,000, primarily due to the Del Webb project, interest on investments by $326,000, property tax by $147,000, property transfer tax by $99,000, and the remaining 30 revenue sources exceeded their budgeted projections by approximately $319,000. General fund operating expenditures are broken down into three object levels: personnel, which includes salaries and benefits, operations and maintenance, and department capital. The table on your screen displays the approximately $2.5 million reduction in actual versus budget expenditures for the fiscal year. At an object level, personnel was $436,000 under budget, operations and maintenance was $1.9 million under budget, and department equipment items were $93,000 under budget. Please note that all individual object level expenditures that were over budget for the fiscal year are included in the budget adjustments found on attachment 2 of the staff report. Let's take a closer look at the $1.9 million decrease in budgeted versus actual expenditures for the fiscal year. Approximately $1.4 million of the decrease in budgeted expenditures can be attributed to the reduced fire fund subsidy, the result of increased revenue in the fire fund, and the city's practice of budgeting the maximum contract value as recommended by CAL FIRE. Approximately $792,000 of the decrease can be attributed to sheriff services. The city budgets at the maximum estimated rate increase, and the actual rate increase was lower than projected during this 2-year budget cycle. And the remaining operation and maintenance accounts were over budget by approximately $228,000. As mentioned earlier, for the fiscal year, the city had a $6 million operating surplus and a $1.6 million non-operating deficit for a total increase in reserves of approximately $4.4 million. The next slide will detail how this surplus impacted the reserves. In the first column along the bottom of the screen, you will see that the city ended last fiscal year with approximately $68 million in general fund reserves, and after accounting for the $4.4 million increase in reserves for this fiscal year, outlined in green on your screen, the city will end the fiscal year with approximately $72.4 million in general fund reserves. I'd like to take a moment to briefly discuss the city's reserve accounts. Unassigned fund balance of $10.4 million is money that has not been committed for a specific use and is available for any purpose. The money in the city's remaining 6 reserve accounts have a specific commitment and can only be used for that purpose unless changed by the city council. The prudent reserve of $25 million is set aside for future revenue shortfalls caused by economic conditions. The capital improvement reserve of $6 million is for land, equipment replacement, information technology equipment and software, and facility and infrastructure renovation and upgrades. The disaster recovery reserve of $5 million was set aside to cover costs and losses associated with a natural disaster that requires activation of the city's emergency operating center. The economic development reserve of $6 million is to be used to continue the economic development efforts of the former redevelopment agency. The library reserve of $10 million is set aside for future needs of the Rancho Mirage Library and Observatory. And lastly, the public safety reserve of $10 million is set aside for police, fire, medical services and equipment, and capital needs that may arise in the future. In addition to the general fund, I would like to briefly call your attention to 3 other funds: the Housing Authority, the Library and Observatory, and the Energy Authority. The Housing Authority ended fiscal year 18-19 with a fund balance of $11.4 million. However, only $8.1 million is spendable as of the end of the fiscal year. $3.3 million of the $11.4 million are long-term receivables that are being collected over the coming years and are not available to spend as of today. The Library and Observatory ended the fiscal year with a $304,000 surplus. Library Director Aaron Espinoza and his staff continue to operate the city's state and nationally recognized Library and Observatory without requiring a subsidy from the general fund. And lastly, the Rancho Mirage Energy Authority, or RMEA, ended the fiscal year with $1.9 million surplus while providing residents a 5% savings on their energy bills. RMEA continues to build its rate stabilization reserve for the program's continued success. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you for your time and consideration this afternoon. Staff is available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Joseph. Any questions or comments on this side?
You know, it's just fabulous. Congratulations to your group, to Isaiah, to everybody that works with this. What a great feather in the cap of Rancho Mirage. Just wonderful.
Charlie, a special thanks to the subcommittee that works on the budget.
Who's on that subcommittee, Richard? Is that, let's see, you and what's his name? I think he's close to me over here. Dana's somebody. No, you guys have always been a part of it and are a driving force with it. Congratulations to both.
You know, I think one thing that's important about the surplus funds is that the surpluses can be adjusted on a yearly basis. So we're not locked in to a certain dollar figure. A year from now, we can look at it again and decide whether there are changes to be made. Hopefully, it just keeps going in the right direction.
Great work.
It really is a remarkable achievement and presentation. One of the things that I'm asked about frequently, and I assume my colleagues are as well, is what do you need all that money for? What are you going to do with all that money? And as depicted here and as laid out by Joseph, that $72 million is fully accounted for. And of course, it's designated here, as you see, based upon a prudent reserve and a capital investment reserve, an economic development, a library, and an unassigned balance. So although the number appears to be quite staggering, it's accounted for. And I must tell you, there's always going to be, at some point, an economic downturn. It's historic, and it happens. And so that's the reason that we're preparing for it so well financially. So congratulations, great job, great accomplishment, and our job is to maintain this level of excellence.
It seems like you could have added to that. Have you ever made an investment and didn't get back the full amount of what it cost you to make that investment?
Yeah.
I think most of us would have to say. Not you, Ted.
Thank you. I was hoping that
The rest of us.
I was hoping you'd recognize that.
The rest of us have made those things. I suppose we should exempt our former mayor as well. Since he's a professional, he wouldn't be making any mistakes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
Well, we have lots of great comments here, and certainly worthy comments. And one of the things that we are so proud of is, amongst other things, of course, is the work that our city manager, Isaiah Hagerman, has done with our RMEA program. And I would love for him to just make a few comments, because this is something that we took on, and now we see other cities trying to achieve something similar, but we did it early on, and here we are.
Yeah, it's the Rancho Mirage Energy Authority, RMEA. So in its simplest form, what we did is the city takes over a behind-the-scene function of delivering power to our community, and that enabled us to put a lower rate schedule on your Southern California Edison bill. Obviously, out here, due to our climate and our Southern California Edison customers, they receive very high utility bills. So it was a way for the city, and I think something that the city council kind of saw from the beginning of being very proactive. This city always searches for ways to enhance the quality of life, and I think that this just kind of naturally came to the top of the surface during that process, and it's something that the city council looked at and said, hey, I think we can do this and we can do it well. So last year, the program saved our residents and businesses a little over $1.4 million on their electric bills. Really, from the standpoint of a customer, you were automatically enrolled into this savings program, so you didn't have to do anything. You still get your bills from Southern California Edison. All the auto pays and everything remains the same, but it was definitely an area where the city council wanted to take a proactive approach. We were obviously the first city within the Coachella Valley to accomplish this, and there are still a few cities trying to figure out how we did it. Obviously, at the end of this year, we had a surplus in the program of $1.9 million. The year before, we were operating for 2 months, and we banked about another $600,000. So in total, this program has $2.4 million in fund balance. And we were very honest with our community when we were starting this program. We just said, hey, this is a new program, and this is why we're doing it, to help lower your electric bills here in Rancho Mirage. And we need to build up reserves. So just like we were just talking about the general fund, how it has reserves to protect the quality of life in Rancho Mirage for different categories, no different with RMEA. You're going to experience some market conditions or something that's unknown, and you need to ride out a few storms without impacting rates. So it's very important that we establish this rate stabilization reserve within RMEA, and obviously we are well underway with that program. So it's a great benefit to the community, and it's something that the council really saw early on in the program. So we've seen a lot of success with it. We've been able to add some unique programs. If you are a resident and you either want to install a solar installation or you expand a current solar installation, the city, through this program, will rebate you $500 right back into your pocket. So it's helping the environment. We are procuring a greener energy product, and it's at a lower price, so it saves you money. So it's been a great program so far, with a good result last year.
It has been an incredible program. And I must say that when we all present our comments here, it shows examples of how Rancho Mirage really is very aware of so much that is as part of your life, whether it's trying to improve your knowledge or your body with activities and exercises, or your health regarding our blood drives and awareness for your health, or your safety. And now we have your power costs that have been such a priority for us, that we're doing everything we can on so many levels to ensure that the lifestyle in Rancho Mirage is the very finest that we can provide. So thank you all. It's been such a pleasure hearing about all these things that we do, and I know that we all get great compliments from the public, and it makes our job so much more enjoyable and worthwhile. So now we'll move on to the,
You want to call for?
yes, we're going to
Motion?
have first, before we have a motion, we're going to have any comments from the public. Seeing none, we'll close the public comments and move on to a motion.
I'll make that motion, Iris, that the City Council of the City of Rancho Mirage and the Board of Directors for the City of Rancho Mirage Housing Authority, Rancho Mirage Library and Observatory, and City of Rancho Mirage Community Services District adopt the resolutions identified as resolutions A through D.
And I'll second that. Please vote.
And motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to Steve Quintanilla, our city attorney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City Council at this point is going to recess in a closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4 to discuss 3 potential initiation of litigation items. The council will also confer with the city attorney regarding an existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1. Typically, we have to specify the name of the case, but there's an exception when disclosure of the case name will jeopardize existing settlement negotiations, which I believe are, those are the current facts and circumstances regarding this case. And the council will also confer with legal counsel regarding significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2, and that involves 1 potential case. The facts and circumstances surrounding this potential case, since it might result in litigation against the city, which I believe is not yet known to the potential plaintiff, we are not going to be any more specific than that. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Steve. So now we will adjourn to the next city council meeting, which will be held on November 7th at 1 o'clock. And we look forward to seeing you at that time, and have a great evening, and just be safe. Thank you.